Golden Achy here with another Halo 4 campaign mission walkthrough, and today I'm going to show you how to get the second of the two weekly campaign challenges for the week of April 14th through April 20th, which is Pinball, which requires you to complete any campaign mission on heroic or higher difficulty with the tilt skull activated. And for this particular challenge I chose Reclaimer just because I hadn't done it in a while, and there's the tilt skull and heroic difficulty, and off we go. Now I'll be using a number of speed running techniques in this particular run. Not all of them, because some of them are extremely difficult. So at a couple of choke points I'll be using safer tactics and techniques, if you will. It adds a few minutes to the run, but I still ran this in, I don't know, under 16 minutes or so, so it's still pretty quick. Anyway, we skipped the opening cutscene here, and we're off and running, and the first thing we're going to do is a nice little speed running trick. Instead of going into the mammoth, we're going to come out here and go to the left, and run along the ridge here. Now, what I noticed is that for every 8 steps of pace, you can get 16 steps sprint. And what that really means is that it takes about, when you run out of sprint, it takes about 4 or 5 seconds to fully recharge sprint. So that's how I use my internal clock, if you will, instead of actually counting the steps. And obviously, if you have to sprint a shorter distance, you can go to sprint quicker than waiting 4 seconds. So anyway, we're back. We're coming in the side door here. We're back in the mammoth. Head back and grab the jetpack, swap out the AR for the sniper rifle, and get up here and take a ride. Now what I did when I ran out to the left is I ran far enough right down to the end of that little ridge line there, and until Captain Del Rio appeared, and that's when you turn around and go back the other way. So just remember that. You need to run far enough out to get Captain Del Rio on the con. And while we're sitting here, just waiting for things to happen. If you do the first challenge, this week's challenge, Don S. Lazo, you will pick this challenge up as well, because the first challenge also includes all the criteria for this challenge. But I'm doing this walkthrough for those who aren't too sure they can do the first challenge and still want to get at least one of the challenges done this week. Now, when Commander Lasky says Covenant digging in on the ridge line up ahead, that's our cue to sprint off at a 45-degree angle off the mammoth there, and then jetpack and coast over to here, and then take off running. And again, I'm sprinting and then kind of waiting 4 seconds and then sprinting again. Or 4 counts, I should say. I mean, that'd be exactly 4 seconds. But I'm not doing a true speed run here, so I'm not really all that concerned about getting that pacing down 100%. It just helps to speed along the mission a little bit. Okay, we're running at the small rock. We're going to run into it, jump jetpack up to this ledge here. Wait till we get full boost back, and then jump jetpack up here. And when I jump jetpack, I mean jump and immediately at the same time hit boost on the jetpack. Alright, we sprint off here, jetpack to slow our descent. Run along the edge of the stream, and up and over the Pelican with the jetpack. Grab the target designator, put shot number 1 on the particle cannon. When you have tilt on, it takes 2 shots to bring it down. Alright, notice I jumped on the ghost and I'm headed back to the mammoth. There is a neat little trick where we could actually use the ghost to jump across the acid stream, but that is a little bit high risk. So I'm using the safer tactic here. Alright, now I just wait for this guy to recharge. In other words, bringing up the target designator is up on the D-pad, by the way. Okay, second shot. Target acquired. Boom, there goes the particle cannon. Okay, head on back down here. And I'm going to wait just a little bit before I get into the ghost, because there is a jackal sniper out there and I don't want him in my line of sight, or me in his line of sight. Then head up here to the hatch, the front hatch, and wait for it to open, which it eventually does. This is a safer way of getting across the acid stream. Sometimes it opens right away, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. It should be opening here soon because I just saw the loading done come up. Okay, out and follow this path here. Make sure you don't bump into any rocks because that will flip us over. And why in the world campaign lags is beyond me. But anyway, that little point right there, I went back into coast to get full boost back, so I could make the run through the gauntlet here. There's 2 phantoms up there, and there's some cubbies on the ground, but on heroic difficulty, it's actually pretty easy to get through there, just as long as you don't hit anything and flip over. Okay, waiting for full boost, and then follow this path, and then right about here, I'm going to bring the nose of the ghost up by pressing the jump key and holding it down. That does bring the nose of the ghost up and makes those little maneuvers easier. Alright, now we're headed for the force field, and we're going to use one of the oldest tricks in the book, which is jump out of a vehicle through a solid object trick, right here. And I looked to the right just before I jumped out, and generally in a ghost, the direction you're looking in is the direction you'll jump out of the ghost in. So look right, look left, jump left. Okay, now we're doing some combination of sprinting and regular pace,
Shield disabled. Mammoth, the path is clear.
On to our next encounter. First thing we're going to do up here, and when we get into position, there's the second particle cannon. And as soon as Commander Lasky comes back on the line here, right about there, go ahead and put the first shot on the particle cannon. When he comes back on the comm like that, that means the Mammoth is in position to see the particle cannon. So, and then jump on the ghost, head up here, and then park it right about here on the flat rock, and then we're going to do a nice little run into the rock and jetpack. That gives us a little bit extra boost. Come up here, and then a little jump jetpack up to here, and actually I wasn't even paying attention, but I had a recharged target designator. I put the second shot on the target with the target designator on the particle cannon, and then the lich starts moving below me, and I use my jetpack to boost and coast down here, and this actually was a pretty hard landing. I didn't even land that hard. But anyway, in through that hatchway, 3 shots on the power source, and that takes care of the lich, and immediately turn around and run back out the doorway and jetpack and coast down back to the flat rock to where I parked the ghost. And actually that takes a little practice. That's a pretty easy thing to do. Okay, boost off, nose up with the jump key, and then right at the last second pull back on both thumbsticks. That softens the landing down there. You notice that I didn't damage the ghost, and I didn't damage me when I landed. Okay, waiting for that invisible wall to go away. Notice the screen freeze, that means it went away. And then we're just going to head over here with the ghost and run up to this rock and then run into it in the jetpack. That gives us extra boost all the way up to the top here. Wait for full boost to come back. Do a sprint, jump jetpack, real quick boost, and now we're going to boost and coast. Boost and coast, boost and coast. Just quick little boost and then coast. Notice that I'm starting to drop a little bit here because I'm running out of jetpack quicker and quicker. But this is actually a fairly easy way to get across that gap. There is another neat little trick where you could actually use a ghost to get across and cut about 20 seconds out of the run. But again, I'm not speed running, and I want to demonstrate the safer techniques. And that's where I ran into that wall, cliff face, and up again, and I did the same thing there. And notice all the extra boost you get by doing that. That's a handy little trick to remember with the jetpack. Okay, so now I'm pacing myself again, running for the start of Sniper Alley. We want to get far enough in to invoke a checkpoint, and then we're going to turn around and come back and execute the infamous Sniper Alley skip. And get to this little rock right here, turn around, let's go back the way we came. And this trick I'm going to be doing up here, I actually did not pull it off perfectly, which demonstrates how you can go to a plan B. But notice the rock right here, and run into it, jetpack, aim a little bit left as you're going up to get to this little ledge. Okay, jetpack up here, sprint, jump, and jetpack across, using boost and coast and boost and coast. And then jump and jetpack and boost and coast to this little ledge. And what happened here is that I kind of hit the ledge as I jumped and jetpacked off, and it threw me off just enough that I didn't quite make this ledge, but we can come down to this area here, and this is a little bit tougher jump, but it is a good plan B to have in case you miss that jump all the way around. But in this case, position yourself so, and then jump jetpack at the same time, and that should be enough boost to get you up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run through here and then boost and coast, making sure we don't hit our head into that platform. Boost and coast across in this direction, this little rock. Okay, position ourselves so, jump straight up and boost up, and we've just pulled off the sniper alley skip. Now that is the big choke point in this mission, as far as I'm concerned. That's a tough little thing to do, but once you get it down, it makes this mission very easy to do at all levels of difficulty, even up to and including Mythic S. Lazo. Okay, notice that I banged on the door there. That gets the Sentinel's attention, I think. I don't know. It just seems to me he gets over there quicker when I do that. Okay, and now we're in the very slow Forerunner elevator. Go down several levels.
This elevator should take us directly to the coordinates Infinity provided. Almost like those Sentinels wanted us to get the particle cannons offline.
Yeah.
This could be a trap.
Now when we get down to the bottom, I want to position myself a little bit to the right of the doorway, because that's how it opens. See right there? Okay, and then out, and we're sprinting and pacing ourselves through this doorway, and I'm back into my speed run pacing, if I'm paying enough attention to it. It is fairly early in the morning when I'm doing this thing. I'm still getting my morning coffee here.
We've reached the coordinates. This looks like the place.
Okay, now we gotta get them down here and get Cortana into the system so she can deactivate the particle cannon network. So the two gold particle cannons, those are the ones that are still active. The two on the right that are silver are the two that we took out. And while she's doing that, I'm gonna mosey back on down to about this spot opposite that doorway there. Because when she takes them out, what's going to happen here is that Librarian is going to grab her in the system, and
Cortana.
I actually don't have the audio on here, but what happens is that the chief is going to yell at Cortana twice. After the first time, go ahead and do that jump jetpack, because when he yells Cortana the second time, that's when the light bridge appears. So that's a neat little speed running trick. And then follow the, the alcove like I did, or through the passageways, and then down here and into the light. And we're in the big cutscene where the Librarian explains everything and then buffs up the chief, but we're going to go ahead and skip that. Okay, we're coming out of it. Alright, now I'm not really going to use any weapons here, but I switch over to my battle rifle. Okay, as soon as that music changes is when Cortana is going to appear. I'm going to grab her, and then jetpack over here, run down to the end of the room, and then just go ahead and sprint jump off of here. And I'm not too worried about the crawlers. I'll just jetpack over them. In here, duck a little left to make sure the door closes behind me, and then into the elevator. And we're headed back towards the outside again.
Your bio readings are all over the map.
It's a long story, but I know what the Didact's after.
I know that part. The Librarian filled me in when she snatched me from the system. But what I don't know is what she did to you.
Okay, out the doorway to the right. Sprint through the portal back to the outside, and we're going to do one final big skip, which is skip this big tank battle that's going on out here. And then head off to the right. And follow the path that I'm taking here along the cliff wall. Now there is a faster way to do this by hijacking either a hog, or actually the fastest way is by hijacking a ghost and hauling it up here. but this is the safest way to do it. Jump up on this little rock here, and then face into the rock face, jetpack to get that extra little boost by pressing your face into the rock face. Do the same thing here when you get boost back. Okay. And then here we can't do that, so we do a straight jump jetpack up. Yeah, that cliff face kind of hangs out a little bit there. Do the same thing here, jump jetpack up. And then just follow this path that I'm taking here. And sprint across the gap and jetpack across. And follow this path here. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm working my way around to that force field. They would have you take out 3 power sources after fighting your way through a whole bunch of covers to get to take out the force field, but we're going to get real sneaky here. And again, I'm just kind of jumping and jetpacking around these rocks. And the idea is to get myself, is to run and jump down behind the force field. And I'll use the jetpack at the last second to soften my descent or slow it down. And now we've gotten behind the force field and we're off and running. Again, I'm using a little speed running pacing here. And go ahead and jump down, grab the target designator, put the shot on the gravity well, and that essentially ends the mission.
Shields weakening. Keep it up.
All combat operations have ceased. This is a forced cutscene here where the chief is watching the gravity well get destroyed and smugly walks away. And then this next cutscene I can skip. That'll be the end of the mission. We'll see the symbols down there on the right, followed by the challenge popping. I hope this helped you in your quest to get this week's weekly challenge of Pinball. This is Old and Achy signing off. Take care, everybody.